I never imagined that learning English would become one of the most important adventures of my life. It all started the day I realized I couldn't keep missing opportunities just because I didn't speak the language, so I made a decision to learn it, no matter how hard it felt or how long it took. The first thing I discovered was that you don't learn English by studying only once a week. I learned that the real key is daily contact, even if it's just 10 minutes. That small habit pushed me forward more than any expensive course ever could. I also realized I didn't need to understand everything at the beginning. Before, I would get frustrated, but then I heard something that completely changed my mindset. Understanding the general idea is enough to keep moving forward. Slowly, things that once felt confusing started to make sense. One of the most powerful tricks I found was switching all my social media to English. It seemed like a small thing, but it forced me to read and recognize words without trying. It was like having a quick English class every time I picked up my phone. Another trick was watching my favorite movies and series in English, with English subtitles too. At first, it felt like a challenge, but eventually my brain began recognizing patterns. Little by little, I learned full expressions I'd never seen in textbooks. Something no one told me was that listening helps even when you don't understand. I started putting on podcasts while walking or listening to music in English while cleaning. One day, while listening to a song I had heard 1,000 times, I suddenly understood the lyrics. That's when I knew I was improving. I also discovered how helpful writing can be. I started with small notes, like, what I did today, or, what I want to do tomorrow, all in English. It helped me remember vocabulary and organize thoughts in the language. But the trick that helped me improve the fastest was speaking. Even when I sounded terrible, I learned that English doesn't get better in your mind, it gets better in your mouth. I began talking to myself, then with friends, and eventually with native speakers and apps. Every conversation made me stronger. One thing that helped a lot was learning full phrases instead of single words. Knowing how to say, "Can you help me?" was much more useful than memorizing "can," "help," and "me" separately. Phrases are ready-to-use tools. Another trick was to stop translating everything. Instead of thinking in Spanish first and converting it, I trained my mind to express ideas directly in English. It took time, but once I achieved it, speaking became so much easier. I also began reading things I genuinely liked. Articles about my hobbies, short stories, even comments on forums. When you enjoy what you're reading, learning feels natural. I realized that making mistakes wasn't a failure, it was part of the process. Every mistake showed me what I needed to improve. Sometimes people corrected me, and I felt embarrassed, but later I appreciated it, because each correction pushed me forward. Another helpful thing was setting small, realistic goals. I didn't try to learn 100 words in a day. Instead, I learned 10, but learned them well. Reaching those tiny goals kept me motivated. I also understood that English isn't just grammar, it's culture, expressions, and ways of seeing the world. The more I explored that side, the more fun it became, and when something is fun, you naturally keep doing it. In the end, I realized something important. Learning English isn't about talent, it's about consistency. It's built from small actions repeated every day. Looking back at how far I've come, I know anyone can do it if they're willing to start, even with one small step today.